Alya sometimes hides her feeling in Russian. That's going to be the next anime we talk about, and I gotta give props. This is a very smart. What do we call it? What do we call it? What do we call these things? Romances. There we go. Wow, I forgot romances. Jesus Christ. But no, honestly, gone. Alya sometimes hides her feelings in Russian is kind of smart because the premise already I really liked, where it was a girl who technically has already confessed her feelings. The guy just hasn't really told her that was the case because she's doing it in Russian, but he understands Russian. And so I kind of wanted to know where they were going to take the premise, and bro, this is like the other show that has impressed me so much, at least in terms of new shows. Because like it could have been simple that like this is just the gag and they're gonna run with it and they'll have different situations, but like they added so many layers to it where like they're just like, oh, why does he know Russian? Oh, because there was a girl when he was younger that he learned it from. Oh, well, there's also like Alya that we don't know about, and she's like fawning over him. And it's like, oh, but Aliyah is also part of the student council, and we find out that he was also part of the student council. Why does he want to be like that? He's just like, I don't want to do it anymore. It's like I'm already done with that. What's his reasoning? And we get like a little flashback of people like crying and him looking at it. It's like, what is happening? And then like we find out that like he might have a thing with Yuki, and so there might be like a butting head thing between like Yuki and Aliyah, who are like that. At least for right now, those are like the three main people who are currently in the show. Obviously, you look at the banner. There should be at least one more girl in play, but right now, the people that we have like who I would consider like the main people as of right now is Yuki, Aliyah, and Kuze. Kuze is the MC. But yeah, they're weaving so many little different like secrets and stories where it's like, oh well, I'm interested in the romance, but like I kind of want to know what's going on over here with plot like C and B. Like, why don't you want to join the student council anymore? What's happening with that? And like, just the intertwining of like him thinking about it, but doing it for Aliyah, on top of like the confession stuff like that. Also, if I'm being honest, as of right now, the whole like, you know, Russian language different dynamic, that one's not even the most interesting with me. I want to know what this drama is. I want to know why he doesn't want to be part of it. I want to know like, oh, just the juicy, really juicy drama of like, oh yeah, well, Aliyah and Yuki, they're both going to be running for president next semester because the main president is graduating. So while they're friends now, like they're going to be running against each other, and then there's like, so now that puts Kuze in a position where he either might have to pick to support Aliyah because like that's someone he's really close with, or Yuki because like that's someone he's also close with and they're childhood friends, but they're not childhood friends. They're also, Jesus, I'm getting so excited about the burp. They're also like siblings, and like Yuki is like, you know, doesn't live with Kuze, but Kuze lives alone because there's like a scene where Kuze comes home and finds Yuki there. It's just like, oh well, why are you here right now? It's like, oh, well, you don't live with each other, but you go, so you guys have different last names. What is going on? Like, oh, different surnames. Like, what is going on? Or what is the mystery of this man's like, of this life? Like, what are we about to find out right now? And so, like, there's so many threads where, like, I'm here for the romance, like, but like, I'm staying for the drama because the drama is juicy. The drama right now is good. I'm like looking at this. I'm like, okay, you have me. You have me. I want to know. I want to know everything. I want to know everything now. I want to know what like this man's doing and what this girl's doing and what this dynamic is and that dynamic is. Like, it's good. It's good. I also had a previous theory beforehand where I thought Aliyah could potentially be the Russian girl beforehand because there was a scene. And to be fair, this was major overthinking on my part, but there was a scene where Aliyah was like asking him for something in Russian. And it was one of those scenes where I don't know why you would phrase it like that if you didn't at least assume. Like, I thought it was going to be one of those things where it's just like, oh, Kuze thinks that Aliyah, that, like, I thought it was going to be one of those things where Kuze assumes that Aliyah doesn't know what, Aliyah's going to, hold on, let me get on my thoughts. So, the main thing I thought it was I thought it was going to be a thing where Kuze assumes that Aliyah doesn't know what, or that Kuze doesn't know what, wow. Why can't I say it? Jesus Lord. Oh, what is this thing? Oh, wow, this stumped me. Leah. Okay, I think I have it. I have it. So, one of my theories that I thought it was going to be is that Kuze thought that Alya thought that Kuze couldn't understand what she was saying. And so Kuze's like, oh, well, she just assumes I can't understand her. But in all actuality, Alya is one of those things where, like, I thought it was going to be revealed, like, later in the series, because the way, certain thing she said was like, oh, why are you phrasing it like that? You acted like you would expect him to, say it. Kind of like goading him to actually go ahead and say it. Go ahead and, like, respond in Russian, potentially. But the reveal would have been like, oh, yeah, I'm that girl. I just wanted to confirm you were that guy because I've been speaking to you in Russian. And, like, you looked like him, so I would assume you know, but you always gave me a look. I kind of one of those, like, reverse things of just like, oh, you knew that I knew, but what actually is that I knew that you knew, and you thought that I didn't know that you do. Like, that confusing shit. But that gets pretty debunked because it's also, like, in the beginning of episode 2, we see that Alya is speaking to Kuze in Russian again in the same way, and so I was, like, excited, but then right after that she says the line, like, she really doesn't understand what I'm saying. So, I mean, it doesn't completely rule out my theory, but also if she's acting like he doesn't know, and it's, like, genuine, then, like, for me, that pretty much, like, debunks it. But I do think that Russian girl is going to come and play sometime, either as like a transfer student or something like that. Like it has to. It can't not, right? Like it has to. It has to be put in play at some point. At some point, I assume that we will get said girl back again. That's my general assumption. I also just like the characters not out even outside the dynamic. Outside their dynamics between each other. I think they're cool. Kuze is a really cool character where he's just kind of like he is probably, I wouldn't say he's like a top romance MC, but he is definitely one of the better romance MCs that I have cared to interact with for some time now. Because when you look at most romance MCs, it's definitely kind of like I mean, like, you're not bad, but it's also kind of like like they're either obnoxious, you hate them, or they just kind of make no sense. This one, while truthfully, you could have just ended it with, hey, I know you're speaking in Russian. This one is, the premise is at least interesting in the way he's going about it. I don't hate that. There's one of those things where you could have been, he's just like wanted to keep it to himself as his little secret, which is not the worst thing. So I'm okay with that aspect, right? I'm okay with that aspect of the whole thing. But also, like, he's just like a genuinely nice guy. Like, he's not like the overbearing, like, gross type of MC where it's just like, oh, like, you're kind of like weird and creepy and like, oh, you might grow out of it, but like, you kind of suck. He's kind of like a just kind of a normal guy, which I appreciate that. Now his sister Yuki is what I would have expected him to be, which is like just a total degenerate. Just a total degenerate. Like, there's a scene where she unironically says, it's like, what are you talking about? It's like total wincest when they're talking about a certain story. And I'm just like, oh no. Like, she also has, like, the secret prime and proper, but instead of her being a delinquent, like, Koshi, we'll call her Koshi. Koshi from, My Dear Friend Nokatan, she's just a degen. She's just cringy. And it's just like, oh, dear Lord. But she hides it. She hides it very well, but she's devilish. But that's an interesting aspect, which also makes me think and wonder if, like, something has to do with that playing into the why he doesn't want to be school president and, like, that weird closeness that he has with his sister and all that stuff. And then there's Alya, who is just, like, kind of just, like, really, really super cute. She's, like, a super adorable character. She probably has one of my favorite dressing room scenes. Where, like, obviously every romance has to have a dressing room scene where they dress up and it's fine. But for some reason, Alya's is one of my favorites, just from, like, how giddy she gets, but then also how embarrassed she gets, where it's just, like, she's, like, not good at hiding her feelings. So she's probably one of the worst female leads to be able to hide her feelings. But it's also one of those things where it's like, it's just super cute. You can't help but enjoy it. You can't help but enjoy it a little bit. Like, it's cute. It's cute. And so like just everything together with this show has been like really good. Again, there's only like 2 episodes, so but I'm really enjoying it. I don't think there is an episode that I have fully like I like both of them, and both of them have really caught me. Like I'm really invested in the story, but I don't think I have an episode yet that I have fully jumped in, being like, this is so good, man. So I'd have to give both episode 1 and episode 2 like an 8, probably like an 8. I'd probably give the first one. No, both 8. I feel like no. I'm gonna say like 8.5 for the first one, but I think both of them getting an 8 is that one. That makes sense. I think that fits. That fits like how I view both of these, honestly.